Hello, and welcome to your OPS 345 Week 10 lecture video. This week we're going to look at email. So we're going to look at how email is sent. We're going to look at some different email protocols, POP, IMAP, and SMTP. And then we're going to look at Postfix, which is software you can use to configure an email server. So, email, is sent through several different systems from source to destination, often of different types. To ensure everything works and is compatible, all mail servers are based on protocols, like pretty much everything we do with networking is. Email software is made up of many different components, with each one handling specific tasks. We have user agent, so that's the email client like Thunderbird or Outlook on both ends of the communication, so use that to send and receive email. Mail transport agents, or MTAs. That's software that the user agent communicates with to send mail. MSA, or mail submission agent. That's responsible for fixing malformed headers and filtering spam. And this could be running on the same system as the MTA. It could be running on a separate system. LDAs, so those receive incoming mail from a mail transport agent and stores it in the message store so the user can access it. This could be integrated into the MTA as well. The message store is where the email is actually stored. It could be a drive on the server. So if you're using web-based mail like Hotmail, Gmail, that's where it gets stored. It could be on a local machine. Like if you're using Outlook or Thunderbird, once you download those emails, they're sitting in storage locally, or it could be stored in a database. Access to the message store is controlled by an access agent. It should use encryption, and it runs either IMAP or POP3, which we're going to look at. So there's three protocols commonly used with email: POP, IMAP, and SMTP. POP and IMAP are used for client to server access. So any communication between a client and the server, it's done usually with POP or IMAP, more commonly IMAP, as you're going to see. SMTP is used to deliver email between servers, from one mail server to another. So POP, or Post Office Protocol, works with a single client. Data is transmitted in full to the client when it's requested, and there's either no or very limited web interface and local storage only. So once you download it from the server, it's not on the server anymore. Version 3 is the most common version we use. POP is defined in RFCs 1081, 1939, 2449, and 1734. IMAP, or Internet Messaging Access Protocol, is much more commonly used than POP. It works with many clients, and it supports mobile access, which is why it's become a lot more popular. I say become, like it's been more popular for a number of years, right? With IMAP, the headers are transmitted to the client, and then only the message if you request it. So when you check your email, right, you see all the headers pop up, and you see what's there. When you click a message, that's when it loads that message. With IMAP, you're only limited by the mailbox size on the server, and it's defined in RFC 9051, or 9051. Now, SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It's the most commonly used protocol for communicating between mail servers on the internet. Part of that is because it's an open standard. And it was published in 1981 with RFC 788. It's been updated with many RFCs since, far too many for me to list on a slide, but lots of revisions, as you can imagine, with a 40-something-year-old protocol. Postfix is a free open-source cross-platform mail transfer agent that routes and delivers email. It was originally written in 1997, so it's been around for a while. and was released in December of 1998. Now, Postfix is actually several processes working together. They're all controlled by a master process, which is configured in master.cf. Most other configurations done in main.cf. Incoming external mail is received by SMTPD, the SMTP daemon. Incoming local mail is received by a process called pickup. Both of these processes will then pass the mail to cleanup, which might pass it to trivial rewrite if there's some issues with the headers that they can fix. And then the mail is passed to the queue manager. And once the queue manager just gets it, it gets to decide where to send it. There's two options. If it's remote for any other machine other than the local one, then it's going to be delivered using SMTP. If it's local, destined for this mail server, then it's going to be delivered using LMTP. Here's how it works, right? It appears to be sender to receiver, but it actually goes through all of these things, user agents, transmission agents, and then in the queue, out on the internet using DNS and routing, and received on the other end. And here's all the components, right? So on the sender's end, we've got various user agents, a mail submission agent, and that interacts with the MTA, which could be Postfix, it could be SendMail, it could be Exchange, it could be something else entirely. There's other ones out there. It gets sent and received on the other end. Goes to the delivery agent, who puts it into the message store, and access to that is controlled by your access agents. It's kind of just a nice little picture that ties up everything that was on all the previous slides. So, in Lab 7, you're going to add an A record and an MX record to your DNS configuration. You're going to create a new instance, email, and you're going to configure Postfix, and then you're going to test receiving email. And next week in Lab 8, you're going to learn how to configure IMAP and add encryption to Postfix and set up Thunderbird. Now, I'm going to warn you before we get into the lab, I've already done parts of it. I was partway through recording this video already, and then the power went out, and I get to redo parts. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. So with all that, let's log into AWS and have a look at the lab. So, first things first, we're going to create a new instance called emails. We've got to launch instances. We're going to call it email. Amazon Linux 2023. We're going to use our existing key pair. Make sure it goes into our VPC, right? Not the default. It's in the proper subnet. OPS 345. We're going to, in the lab, you're going to create a security group. I'm going to select an existing one because it's still there from my earlier configuration. And I'm going to give it an IP of 10.3.45.12. And we're going to add a new Elastic Block Store volume of 4 gigs. And I think everything else is fine. So let's launch that. Wait for that to fire up. Right, so that's set up and going. We're going to configure port forwarding. We're going to give it an Elastic IP. I'm actually going to skip ahead and do the Elastic IP first. So it's this one here. I'm going to call it email IP. So we're going to allocate that, or associate it rather, with email. There we go. That's good. Now we're going to do a bunch of things that I already did. Whoops. Let's go back into my router for a second. What? Oh, my dog's howling upstairs. So we're going to add a rule to port forward incoming traffic on 2212 to 10.3.45.12, our email IP, port 22. And if we look at the IP tables configuration file, that's the line that does it right there. So, done. We're going to access it. Whoops, we need to disconnect first. I'm just actually going to... I don't think I need this one anymore anyway. -P 2212 and switch my user. And yeah, I've got to get rid of that, so... Whoops. Home. JM Carmen. .ssh. Known hosts. And it's line 10. Should be that one. Save it. Okay, so let's try this one here. Paste. There we go. And we're in. Now, back to lab 2 momentarily. I think it's 2. I was wrong, it's lab 1. So we're going to create the user. So there we go. We're going to give it all our stuff and give it sudo, right? So sudo vi etc sudoers.d 10-ops users JM Carmen all equals all no passwd all because I missed an S. Let's give this a go again. So that should work. We're going to steal those keys as well, right? So ls-la.sh. There we go. We're going to cp- I'm just going to interactively turn into sudo or super user for a bit. Root cp-r home ec2 user .ssh. There we go. That should work. And chown-r jm Carmen. And let's give that a go. So if that worked, we should be able to now log in. Yay. Yay. Everything's great. Give it a host name. We're going to call this email. And all that stuff's done. Yep. So next, log into Bindesdrawer and give it an take our elastic IP and create an A record. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. my Windows drawer? There we go, I found the right tab. So I gave it, there we go, an A record mapping email to that IP right there, and an MX record mapping to email. And we want to test that, right, with dig. So if we do Google Admin Toolbox, we can use dig. First we want www. Not www, email.jmcarmen.ops345.ca, or jason.carmen for me, right, there it is. And we want to check the MX record, and just remove email, and boom, it worked. So everything is great so far. On to the next step. So here's where things didn't go so good for me before, and hopefully they'll go better now. We're going to install LVM2. There we go. We're going to create a new volume group. VG email. Hold on a minute. We need to see what we got. So it's going to be SDB we're going to use. There we go. See, I needed that. Also, for some reason, whoops. When you do this as root, you get the nice color coding, but when you do it with sudo, you don't. Probably because you don't have root's profile. And let's do our block dev get size 64 dev SDB. So it should be, looks like 4 gigs to me. That's the one. If we do SDA, it should be, yeah, look at that, 8 gigs. Good, so we know we have the right one. So, VG create, VG email, dev, XVDB. XVDB, yeah. Looks like it worked, good. LV create -n VG email -l 100% free. That's just a label. I don't think we actually need that, but I'm doing it anyway. That's created. There we go. Looks good to me. And if we do an ls-l on dev mapper VG email. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I messed something up. That should have been VG email, LV email. That's okay, as long as I remember it was messed up. I should be able to mount it. I just have to remember it's VG email -VG email. I'm going to write that down, because I'm going to forget. I know my memory. It's going to forget. Okay. So it looks good so far. Let's format that. ext4 -l email dev mapper. That looks like it's done. Great. Now, the fun part, we need to mount it. And we can't actually test mounting it because there's funny things that happen if you try to mount your home directory going to get locked out. Well, maybe we're not going to get locked out yet. It mounted, that's good. So let's unmount it. It mounted, that's good. If I'm jumping ahead to the next step, this is why I had to delete everything. We're going to mount our home directory on using fstab, and if you mess that up, you're not going to be able to log in because your keys are in your home directory, and if it's not mounted, it's not where SSH is looking for it, and bad stuff's going to happen. So let's hope bad stuff is not going to happen this time. And we're going to modify etc fstab, and we're going to mount dev mapper vg. See, this is why I wrote this down. It's vg email twice, yeah, because I messed up. Var, so that's just on home. Oh, hold on a second. We don't want to do that yet. Oh, it's okay. We're going to be fine because we're not going to test it yet. ext4 defaults 0, 0. I just jumped ahead. So that should be okay, hopefully. We're going to make a directory, temp home. We're going to mount. I actually want to undo that line I just put. It does matter. Mount LV email there. I'm going to jump back and forth. So dev mapper vg email. We're going to map that to temp home. We're going to copy everything from our home directory to temp home. That did not copy right. Maybe it did. Okay, that looks like it's gone. Let's try that again. I think we need a star there. Maybe this is what I messed up before. That looks better. That looks better. So now we moved everything. I copied it instead, but that's okay. Now we put that line back in. Ooh. Scary times. VG email underscore VG dash email home ext4 defaults 0, 0. Now for our moment of truth. Now we reboot. Okay, hold on. Maybe that's the mistake I made before. Underscore dash underscore. So I guess we can test. Hey, we didn't get an error. We didn't get an error. Alright, let's reboot. I think we're going to be okay this time. So now we just wait. I'm going to pause while I'm waiting. And I messed it up. How can I tell? Because I get that. Let's see if I can log in as EC2 user. No, same problem. So, we get to terminate our instance and do it again. Just to show you how to terminate an instance, it's pretty easy. Just terminate. Yep. And it's gone. Just kind of give it a minute. It'll say shutting down, then it'll say terminated. Once it says terminated, we can give it a go again. Alright, so I'm about to reboot. I just redid a bunch of stuff. I think here's where I made the mistake, and I think it's going to work this time. I hope. So I redid everything with the proper VG email, LV email nonsense this time. And before moving everything, I changed to the home directory. And then I moved everything to TMP home. And then I edited etcfs tab, I unmounted home, I remounted home, and it looks like it's there now. Oops. So if I see, it looks like it's there. So I think I should be okay. Let's see. Moment of truth. And it worked! I'm in! Yay! So we can continue on. That's awesome. So yeah, that was the key that I messed up before that you didn't see because I didn't record the mess up. Change to that directory first. Move everything. Unmount home. Mount it. Reboot. Tricky things. Tricky things. So, now we're going to install Postfix. DNF dash, let me just clear my screen. Ooh. Sudo DNF dash Y install Postfix. There we go. Start it and enable it to start on boot. So we're going to start it and enable. And we're going to do a status as well. And yep, looks like it's good. Now if we issue the ss command, well, that's a lot of stuff running. We wanted some options there, that's why. ss dash atnp. We see we're listening on port 25. That's good. That's what we want. That's postfix. So now we're going to edit our postfix config file. tc postfix main.cf. Oops. I missed the vi part of that. There we go. We're looking for my domain. Whoops. And we're going to uncomment that. And we're going to set it to jason.carmen. Well, your domain, right? ops345.ca. ops345.ca. my origin to my domain. INET interfaces, we're going to get rid of localhost, we're going to set that to all, and my destination should be down here. To the one that includes my domain. So it's going to be this one here. And that should work. Escape, save it, restart our Postfix service. Because we changed the config file. And let's do a status to confirm everything came up okay. Looks good. Let's see what ports we're listening on now, and notice the difference on... There's no difference on port 25. Well, there's some extra stuff there. I wonder... Oh, there we go. Interesting. So I guess if I'd done that before, there would have been more here. Running that as root gets you some more information. So let's see if everything works okay. This part may not work, just as a heads up. It may not work for me, it may not work for you. I couldn't get this to work last semester. Telnet email.jason.carmen.ops345.ca port 25. I think that's going to fail. I think that's going to fail because I'm with TechSavvy, and well, they're on Rogers network, right? So it's not going to work, and if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's going to fail. Now we can't actually do this, so forget it. Forget it. Back into... We're going to install Dovecot. DNF-y install Dovecot. We're not going to do anything with it. Oh, I'm in the wrong... Good lord. Let's get back in there. Yeah, it's still not going to tell us anything. Dovecot. So we're going to install it. We're not going to run it. We're going to tell Postfix to use it, though. So we're looking for mailbox command. And to go to next, and to go to next. I'm going to go in insert mode. And we're going to add, I'm just going to leave that stuff here. Mailbox underscore command equals user libexec dovecot dash LDA dash F sender dash A dollar recipient RECIPIENT. Restart Postfix. Guess what I didn't open with sudo? Guess what I have to do again? There we go. So plus underscore command equals, let's get rid of that. No H does that. User libexec dovecot dash LDA dash F dollar sender dash A dollar recipient. I think that looks good. And do a status to confirm it's running. Yep, so that means we probably didn't make a typo. That's great. We're going to edit this file now, etc dovecot.conf.d 10 mail.conf, and we're going to go to mail location. Oops. And we're going to set it to, whoops. Don't forget, I don't remember the shortcut to go back offhand. Get rid of that. Insert mode comment, or uncomment that. Maildir colon tilde slash maildir. Maildir, yeah, that looks good. Let's try mail. Where are we mailing this to? Oh, here we go. Externally. So I'm going to log into Gmail. Give me a second. Oh, I'm just going to use Seneca actually. I don't think it came through. Alright, so we're going to edit etc aliases. And we're looking for Mark. Just uncomment the bottom line. Oh, that one. Root. And set it to your username. New aliases. Oops, we need sudo. And everything should be hopefully okay. Let's try sending an email again. Alright, so I'm back. I've been troubleshooting this for a bit. I've got everything configured correctly, I think. And I'm not receiving email. Had issues with this in the past, where it just doesn't work in AWS for some reason. So, if you run into this problem, you're at the end, here's what you do. You're going to submit what you got, right? So I want to see your email VM, right? It's been installed, and it's there. Your dig queries for your two records, so do a for the A record and for the MX record, right? The output of your mount command, and that should show me somewhere in there that home is being mounted. Yeah, there it is. Just way up there. And if you're not receiving the email in your Maildir, which I checked and I've got nothing, show me that. Sudo systemctl status postfix. Um, looks like it's done 3 things, so maybe the email is just eventually going to show up later. Weird. So with that, take care, be safe, have a great week. This is only a 40-minute video for you. It was way more than 40 minutes of me recording it. I will see you on Friday. Bye for now.